So, soybean farmers who overwhelmingly voted for Trump in the last election are now running to MSNBC and crying to the woke liberal media because Fox News is no longer listening to them about needing a bailout for their failing farms. And the reason that they need a bailout is not because of Democrats, it's not because of Joe Biden, it is because of Donald Trump's failed economic policies regarding tariffs. Now, for a long time, U.S. farmers had it sweet because the vast majority of their product was being sold directly to China, like more than 50%. And this took a hit under Trump's first term because of the trade war that he got us into back in 2017. In the last years of Biden's presidency, U.S. exports of soybeans to China was around 54%. Do you know what that percentage is now? 0%. So because Donald Trump placed massive tariffs on China at the start of his term and got us embroiled into this crazy trade war with them, the Chinese placed retaliatory tariffs on our products, in particular on soybeans, which is a huge market for us. Because of this, US soybeans now are 20% more expensive on average than what the Chinese are used to buying. Instead of buying from American farmers, the Chinese are simply turning to South America, and in particular Brazil. Brazil started selling a lot more soybeans to China. Now, instead of bailing out the farmers before the government shutdown, Donald Trump and his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent decided instead to send a $20 billion aid package to Argentina because their economy is on the verge of collapse. And then what does Argentina do? Argentina takes the fucking money and they run, but not before stabbing us in the back. They drop their export tariffs on soybeans to China, so now Argentinian soybeans are more attractive to the Chinese customers because they're around the same price as the Brazilian soybeans, but they're buying more. China bought a huge amount from Argentina. So now, instead of China buying soybeans from U.S. farmers, they're now buying a lot more from Argentina and from Brazil. By the way, our America First administration, who just bailed out Argentina with $20 billion, when they were asked if they would help Zoran Mamdani if the city of New York faced any sort of economic hardships, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, literally told us to drop dead. Now, this is not a defense of farmers, and I want to be abundantly clear that we completely oppose any sort of bailout package that the Trump administration is preparing to give farmers. Completely, period. We've already had to bail them out once in Trump's first term because he started a trade war with China back then, and the Chinese government stopped buying soybeans from us, and so we had to bail out the farmers already. Every time that these farmers need a bailout, Democrats come running along, ready to give them a bailout. And for what? These people are not going to vote for Democrats. These people do not give a fuck about the other side of the aisle. They don't care. What is the point of pandering to these people? These people not only overwhelmingly supported Trump, they knew the consequences. They knew that he was hawkish on China. This was no fucking secret, by the way. It was no secret that he was running on tariffs the entire fucking election. He spent the whole time talking about it. We tried to warn you. He wanted to reshape the U.S. global position on free trade. And you thought that wasn't going to affect you? You thought that all the times that he was going to place tariffs on China, you didn't think that was going to affect you? I want to make myself extra clear when I say that it is completely financially irresponsible to give farmers another bailout. They're playing a fixed game. They have a guaranteed buyer for their product. It's very easy to run a business that way. But these people are also the loudest opponents whenever anyone talks about student debt relief, whenever anybody talks about expanding healthcare coverage. They are the loudest opponents to those things. And it's very easy to sit on a pedestal when your entire business model is predicated on government assistance. Now, the most common argument that we hear for giving farmers bailouts is that if we don't give them a bailout, the U.S. is going to starve, which makes sense until you think about it for more than 10 seconds. I don't eat soybeans. Do you eat soybeans? No, in fact, nobody eats these soybeans. These soybeans are all sent to China, and then they get converted to feed for their livestock. So no, we aren't literally going to fucking starve if we don't bail out the farmers. That shit is just Republican propaganda at this point. I'll give farmers the same advice you guys give us when we ask for, better healthcare, when we ask for student debt relief. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop asking for a handout. Now look, if I had to choose between giving a bailout to our U.S. farmers or giving a bailout to the right-wing authoritarian government of Argentina, of course I'm going to choose our farmers. but Trump didn't. And that tells you everything you need to know.